Ever since Violet was a kid, her mother Paulette has always emphasized the importance of a good image. Violet remembers that the white kids could look a hot-ass trailer park mess, but Violet always had to look clean because she'd be judged harder for it, and her looks was a reflection of her mother. The hair especially was of utmost importance. It had to be straightened out. Regularly, her mother made sure she looked perfect using conditioner and that evil-ass hot comb.
Oh.
One day, Violet saw some kid in the pool, and the boy asked her to jump in. Paulette warned her not to, but Violet jumped, and when she popped out of the water, her hair was a complete mess, and all the kids called her Chia Pet, and y'all kids smell like soured milk. Her mother drags her out of the pool party after that. Years later, Violet opens the door for her mother very early in the morning. She's convinced that her Foine boyfriend Clint will propose during her birthday party after seeing a small box in the closet. Excited, Paulette helps Violet with her hair as they talk about the upcoming proposal. Then Violet slips back to bed and pretends to be asleep. When Clint wakes up, he thinks Violet woke up like this. They eat each other like breakfast, and Violet even admits Clint's sausage is gigantic. However, her hair has to be perfect, so she stops him every time he reaches for her hair. She even volunteers to be on top just so she can move her head away from his touch. Clint is a doctor, and Violet is a creative director at an advertising company. When she goes to work, heads turn just to check her out, and she flips her hair because she knows it. During a meeting, her boss, Bill, commends her for such a perfect pitch on an ad. During lunch, Violet is worried that it might rain. On their way to the car, Violet sees two kids playing with water, which she thinks is cute, until they accidentally spray her with a good amount. Afraid that Clint is going to see her in her natural state, she panics. She tries calling her mother, but she's not answering her phone. They go to a salon, and Violet pays $200 just to have her turn. A kid named Zoe keeps staring at her and refuses to leave until Violet gives her some money, but Violet refuses, eventually calling Zoe's hair a mess without realizing she heard. In the middle of the treatment, Violet starts to feel uncomfortable, so she asks the staff to rinse her hair. While she rinses it, she notices clumps of hair just being washed away. She panics, but when confronted, the hairdresser says she just used what was handed to her. They discover that it was Zoe who handed her a relaxer instead of a conditioner. Violet is so angry, she criticizes Zoe's head, calling it a mop.
Deadass.
And she asks the owner, who is Zoe's father Will, for an immediate remedy. They come up with a solution, and Violet shows up at the party with a very beautiful Tamar-style wig.
You better get your life.
It's her birthday party, and her friends and family are all there. Paulette starts to brag that her daughter about to marry a British doctor who has surprisingly good teeth for being an innit. Her father Richard leaves early, but Paulette tries to be civil because there are people around. During the toast, they are all waiting for Clint's big announcement, but the small box contains a collar and not a ring. Another gift gives her hope, but she gets disappointed immediately when she sees that there's a dog inside and not a ring. Clint is very happy with the gift, but Violet is very disappointed. Girl, Clint did you so dirty with that toast announcement. At home, Clint notices that Violet doesn't like the dog, so Violet reveals that she was expecting him to propose after 2 years of dating and living together. But Clint is not yet ready to get married. He explains that he doesn't know Violet really well because she always seems so perfect and never lets her guard down. They haven't even showered together. He adds that being with Violet is like going on a first date for 2 years. Hurt by the confession, Violet kicks Clint out of the house. Girl, you shouldn't even be worried about your hair because that man bald. Distracted by the breakup, Violet messes up her next presentation. And even though the client likes the pitch, he wants Violet out of the account. While shopping, Violet catches Zoe putting a dress inside her bag. She walks in and tells Zoe not to steal the dress. Despite Zoe being confident that she's not going to get caught, she makes her take out the dress and puts it on the counter. However, as Violet pulls her out of the store, the alarm rings and alerts the guard. Will is very disappointed when he finds out what happened. Violet steps in, saying that Zoe just needs some guidance. Will gets offended and tells Violet to mind her own business. Suddenly, Violet gets distracted by a woman with blonde hair getting it on in public. So of course, Violet wants to become a Swiftie too. Her friends aren't too impressed with the blonde look. She wants to ease her pain from Clint, so she wants to go out and have fun. When they enter the club, she trips, and a Southern Republican boy helps her up. Embarrassed by what happened, she wants to leave right away, but the guy, whose name is Chris, asks her to stay. They end up at his mansion. Violet gets the validation she's looking for when Chris says that her hair screams fun. While making out, Violet massages honey all over his body. Unfortunately, her hand slips, and she headbutts him. Not only is he bleeding, but Violet also has honey on her hair, so she decides to leave. However, the man wants her to stay. Girl, he loaded, and he got that southern charm. You should have nabbed that generational wealth. It's not her lucky day because it also starts to rain. She shares her story with the cab driver, but the old man finds it funny that Violet dumped a good man just because he didn't propose. So she goes to the hospital to see Clint. When she gets there, she sees him flirting with a trifling-ass coworker. She gets even more hurt, realizing they slept together. She's surprised that he has moved on very quickly, so Clint reminds her she broke up with him. She goes home, and that poor Yo Quiero Taco Bell dog just wondering when he finna eat. She gets drunk and gets rid of all of Clint's things in the house. She's so heartbroken that she pulls a Britney Spears while laughing and crying at the same time. She keeps going until she passes out. Y'all, Sana Lathan really shaved her beautiful hair for this scene. When she wakes up the next day, she's shocked to find out what she did to her hair. Her mother faints after seeing her daughter looking like Little Bill, but her father is cool with it. On her way to work, she notices no one is paying any attention to her. She cries and cries. Then she meets a woman who invites her to a support group. She shows up and learns that other women are also going through the same thing, but it's actually a cancer support group. Little Bill wants to leave, but the coordinators ask her to open up to the group. She shows them her shaved head, and they tell her to own it and walk with confidence. So she does exactly that. She even asked her boss to move her to a different campaign so she can prove herself again. Her boss says he wanted her to get her head right, not show her Appalachian-headed lumps. One day she receives an apology letter from Zoe. Violet visits her, and Zoe says her bald-headed ass isn't her fault. Violet gives her the dress she wanted and spends the day with her. Violet braids her hair, saying she wished her mother gave her braids. Zoe says she can draw some on her head. Later, Will asks her to stay for dinner, and Violet agrees. She doesn't remember the last time she let her guard down and just had fun. Will also takes the chance to talk about the hair products he created, saying it's all natural, and it allows black women to wear their hair naturally. Later, Paulette is so annoyed that her ex-husband Richard is now officially an underwear model. She's embarrassed that everyone knows that she used to get her back broken by him. Paulette knows Violet is seeing someone, but hopes it's a man. Paulette gasps when she finds out the new man has a daughter. On her date with Will, Violet sees him wearing something so simple, so she also changes her outfit for something simpler. They walk and talk and flirt, and Clint takes out the product he just came up with and uses it on Violet's hair. He gives her an erotic head massage before kissing her, and now she wants to give his penis head an erotic massage. Violet then takes Will to her mother's 4th of July celebration. Paulette doesn't hide the fact that she doesn't like Will. Girl, I wasn't gonna say this, but you a chubby Angela Bassett. Not long after they arrive, Paulette introduces a man named Gerard to Violet, saying that he's a lawyer and is now working in the government. Violet tries to save the situation every time her mother makes a snide remark about Will's profession. So after getting embarrassed, Will decides to leave the party. He tells Violet that he has a daughter to look after and won't wait for Violet to fix all her issues. At work, Violet pitches a new ad campaign, but her approach is much different than what she used to do. Female beauty is no longer her focus. A male coworker makes a different pitch, following a pattern of what used to work through the years. The man gets the boss's approval because it's already tried and tested. Violet doesn't like it, so she resigns. She goes home afterwards, plays some music, takes off her shirt, and starts dancing around the room. The poor dog is still wondering when he finna eat. She's busy throwing her ass back, not noticing that Clint is watching her. She falls back and catches him staring. Clint explains that he's packing up his things. He also apologizes if he unintentionally hurt Violet's feelings before. Violet's dumb ass accepts the apology and gives him a smile. Because he smells awful after the dog peed on him, Clint asks if he could take a shower first. Violet agrees. Then she can't help herself. She misses him, so she joins him in the shower, cleaning each other's cracks and crevices. On the next day, Violet wakes up beside Clint. She starts to prepare breakfast, but then Clint volunteers to do it this time. Suddenly, he kneels down on one knee and proposes using an onion ring. After saying yes, she spills the details to her friends immediately. Meanwhile, Richard is famous now to younger women because of the ads. Clint looks so agitated as they get ready for the engagement party. Then he makes a request that changes Violet's perspective once again. He asks her to straighten her hair or do something with it to make it look better. Well, bitch, Clint, do something with your hair. Later, Paulette helps Violet with her hair, and she seems more excited than her daughter about the engagement. At the party, Clint finally introduces Violet to his parents. Paulette is not happy to see Zoe there, but the kid is Violet's guest. Before the big announcement, Violet excuses herself. When her parents and Clint ask her what the problem is, she admits she's so tired of trying to be perfect all the time. the shoes, the hair, everything. She remembers the time her mother yanked her out of the pool, saying things would have gone differently if she had just comforted her that day. Her mother stands by what she did, adding that perfection is what got her Clint in the first place. But Violet has finally reached her limit. She no longer wants to be what Clint wants. She wants to be her own person. To solidify her protest and her newfound confidence, she jumps into the pool. Her friends and other guests soon follow her into the water. Even though Paulette is angry, Richard pulls her in and kisses her, saying she has never looked more beautiful. Meanwhile, her wig floats on by. Violet watches as her parents make out and is convinced things are going to turn out fine. Clint over here just looking like a sourpuss though. After the fallout of their relationship, Violet focuses on her new job. She pitches Will's products, saying that they aim to make women feel beautiful, naturally without having to change their hair. The boss loves the pitch, and now they just have to wait for the final result. Will is amazed at how good Violet is at her job. He wants to be with her, but somehow they both agree that Violet needs to find herself first. AKA, she wasn't that into Will, so she exits the building alone, confident in herself even though she looks different from what she used to consider perfect. What did y'all think of this movie? Quite sweet and a wonderful movie for people to embrace their natural hair.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.